Hi, this is Erica Johnson again with the Journey Mappers at Oakland University. Today we have a very special guest by the name of Izabella, and she's just going to share a little bit about her journey at Oakland University. So we're super excited to have her here today.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Tell me a little bit about like your major journey. Like, how did you kind of figure out that social work was what you really wanted to study?
Okay, so before I came to Oakland, I had an idea that I wanted to be a therapist, but I didn't want to like commit to anything yet. I was like, because it was just an idea. It wasn't like something I was for sure solid on. So I think I actually first heard through my grandpa that you could become a therapist through a social work degree because he has a social work degree as a therapist. So when I first came here, I remember actually at orientation I was talking with my first year advisor, and he was helping me with these classes and this, that, and the other. And so I kind of, from the start, was planning my gen eds around a major that I might potentially choose, but I was still, like, undecided because I didn't actually know what it meant. So from there, I'd have, like, discussions with my advisor, and, like, I wasn't even sure I wanted to go that way, too. So kind of, like, I want to explore different areas. Like, what if I want to be a teacher? What if I want to be in business? What if I want to do this? What if I want to do that? So obviously went to the Career and Life Design Center, and I first met with Kelly Dorner, and she helped me right away with like setting up interviews, or she gave me contacts of people to talk with who were in the field, so like school counselors, school social workers, things like that. I think she set me up with like 4 different people, and through talking with them, that really helped to understand, like, really what it means, what it would mean to be choosing this pathway. And the people that she got me in touch with were very helpful, like, really helped me to understand, like, what the difference is between, the other thing. There's also another way you could become a therapist with a counseling degree. So, like, there's, like, 3 kind of routes, and she helped me, like, kind of narrow it down to one that I thought would be best for me.
That's awesome. And I love that you talked about informational interviews because, like, I feel like a lot of people don't know that that is a thing, or they don't know that that is something that could actually benefit them. And I know for me personally, I kind of had a similar situation where I didn't really probably figure that out until after I graduated, but I did informational interviews with my peers or people that were in those roles in the same company, and I was able to figure out, like, this is what I really want to do. So I love that you touched on that, just because I know that there are some students that probably don't know that that's an option.
Yeah, for sure. Can I add something to that?
Yes, of course.
That would be, like, what I would say would be the number one thing if you're trying to figure out what you want to do. Talk to people in the field and try and do job shadowing. I haven't done any job shadowing yet, but I'm hoping to do that this summer. So
yes,
those are, like, from talking to people, those are the number one ways that's going to help you to figure things out, because these people know they're in the field.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to get a degree in something, but it's another thing to, like, apply it.
And I feel like job shadowing, too, is, like, nice because the people that are actually probably, like, doing the job shadow probably enjoy doing what they do, and they really want people to see, like, hey, this is what I do, like, come join this field, come join this industry. Like, so I feel like it's an exciting thing to, like, kind of introduce ourselves to, or even, like, build relationships with other people. So that's exciting, and I hope that goes well for you as well.
I hope that I actually do it.
And of course, if you need people to connect with, you know who to connect to. So and then also, could you tell me, like, what other resources did you also experience or gain from connecting with Career and Life Design?
100% the cover letter and resume. Like, they help you work on your cover letters and resumes. Like, that was a total lifesaver, working with people to, like, look it over for me. Like, oh, you're actually only a freshman, so your resume should be 1 page, not 3. Because I had, like, nice faces and, like, all that. But when people are reading your resumes, they don't want to see 3 pages. They want to just see what you have to offer, like, show them kind of thing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So very insightful. They had a ton of resources. So, like, you didn't even have to work with someone if you didn't want to. Like, they showed me, like, this is where you find the format for the cover letter. This is where you find it for the resume. So, like, I went with that. I adjusted from there, and then I went back, and they helped me with that, too. So that really helped. And I think,
Yeah.
who knows if it helped me? I think it probably very much did help me getting some of the student leader positions because, you know, if you open that resume and it's 3 pages, they're like, goodbye.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, speaking of your student positions or your student leadership positions, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So I first heard about it through my first year advisor because just like during one of our meetings, he's like, I think you'd be really good as an orientation group leader. And I was like, I don't really like, what does that mean exactly? And he's like, oh, you know, the people that like showed you around like at orientation. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that seems cool, but like I don't know, like I'm unsure. So he sent me information about that. And I was kind of looking at that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think this is something I really want to do. I think this would be really awesome to help those students, to show them around. Like, that'd be a really fun but important job. And then with talking with Kelly, I was telling her about that, and she said, oh, yeah, you could also apply for, like, a peer mentor or peer coach position, you know, if you're thinking social work, because one of our discussions was that, like, I feel like I want to work with people. I feel like that'd be something I'd be good at and something I'd enjoy, but I'm not sure because I actually haven't worked with people. Like, most people I talk to, I obviously enjoy our interactions because they're nice people, but, like, being in a social work field, you're going to have, obviously, a wide array of people, some who are very nice and pleasant to be with and others who you have to really help out. And so I was like, okay, yeah, like, I'll try to apply for that, too, because you can just apply for them all at the same time. And so I ended up applying for Dream Peer Coach and CMI, but I ended up having to choose between the two. But they were very similar, so it was very hard to choose. But yeah, so then they had a whole group process and then the individual interviews and all that. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too, honestly. Like, even the interview process, everyone was so nice, and like I just really enjoyed that too. So I'm hoping, well, I know the job will be fun too. The interview was fun.
And imagine, like, too, like, you coming in as, like, a freshman, right? I could only imagine, like, it probably was, like, a interesting or, like, kind of new experience for you. Imagine, like, the influence you have on other students or other people that are kind of going through that same thing, or that is, like, kind of new to different experiences on campus as well. So
yeah, I hope so.
so you're, like, just being able to influence and inspire other people. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
My other question for you is, like, what is it like to attend a career fair as a freshman?
Okay, so that was actually kind of funny because, not like funny, like, oh, the career fair was funny. Like, the situation was kind of funny because they sent out emails about the career fair, and I was like, oh, should I go to this? But then when I found out more about what the career fair was, I was like, oh, I'm not looking for, like, a real world job. You know what I mean? I'm, like, only a freshman. But then the first year advising center sent out an email saying, like, if you're a freshman, you can still come to the career fair. Like, come with us, we'll show you around. So I was like, okay, like, I might as well, I have time. So I went down there with the first year advisor, and she was, like, introducing me to Kelly. I was like, I already know Kelly. And then Kelly showed me around the different tables. So basically there's a bunch of tables, a bunch of different businesses that you can, like, kind of start. I think these people are, like, looking for jobs, so they're getting connections, networking, getting their name out there and things like that. So she introduced me to someone from, what's it called, Macomb County, something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but basically she introduced me to this organization because she thought it would be, like, a good organization for the future, like, that I would talk to someone from there and maybe work there. And so she was asking things like, you know, what would somebody who might want to work here who is in social work would do to prepare for a job like this, you know? So that was really awesome because everyone there was super helpful. Kelly showed me around, and yeah. So I don't think it hurts to go if you have the time. I mean, that's kind of my motto. If I have the time, I'll go. Yeah. That's a bad motto.
No, it's a good motto. And I do want to also, like, for any students watching, I want to also say that going as a freshman to a career fair is totally okay. I do feel like there are a lot of, like, freshmen that I've spoke to that are just like, I'm not sure if I'm, like, looking at this moment right. like what you were saying, but it's totally okay just because like you are kind of getting your foot out there. You're kind of like learning about different companies, different organizations, and just kind of getting more insight. So just wanted to make sure that I like shared that. And I appreciate you also adding that as well, because I do hear that pretty often.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go until they sent on the
Yeah.
email, like, you can still come as a freshman. I was like, oh, okay.
And I would imagine it was probably intimidating, right? At first, like, okay, I got to go talk to like just first thinking about it, like I'm going to go talk to like all these companies, all these organizations, and I never met them before. Like, I
Right,
don't know
like,
what they're looking for.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, like what kind of questions do I ask? So I think that is like kind of like common things that people feel. I know I did for sure. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give to students that are studying social work?
Know that it is a very versatile degree. You can work in hospitals, you can be a therapist, you can work in militaries, you could do so many different like areas. You're not like pigeonholing yourself. So that's part of the reason that this degree kind of worked for me, because with I didn't know if I exactly wanted to go all the way for my PhD for psychology to be a therapist, because I'm not thinking that far ahead yet. And then as far as counseling, because you could be a therapist with a master's in counseling, that I was between counseling and social work, but ultimately, to me, for what I'm looking for, it seemed that social work provided me with more flexibility within the field, and people were, letting me know, like, you can also do this, this, and that. And while I do think I just want to be a therapist, I also would like to have those more options. But that's not to say that a master's in counseling is not a good degree, because Oakland has, from what I've heard, a very good master's in counseling program. So I would definitely be between the two, but just for the versatility of it, I would consider it and talk to people about it and what it has to offer for you, because you don't know unless you ask.
So last question for you. What kind of resources or what kind of advice would you give to someone that is kind of on the cusp of figuring out what they want to do with their career, or just trying to like get more insight into how to navigate that career direction?
Okay, so I would definitely, the Handshake does have a lot of good resources, but I would definitely talk with people. Like, just because you talk to one person and ask for information, they might not have told you everything, or they might have forgotten something. You have to talk to many people, and it's a lot of work, but you have to, like, if you want to learn about a degree or you want to explore different careers, you have to try and talk to different people in the field. So just really take the time to give attention to the different fields that you're considering, and maybe even to the fields that you couldn't see yourself in, because lots of people say, I never thought I liked that, but now I do. So if you're really truly like blank slate, undecided, take the time and be intentional about using the resources. Go to the Career Life Design Center. Especially as a freshman with a bunch of gen ed classes, you have more time. So be intentional and try to just do these steps, and they'll get you places, even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment.
I appreciate you sharing that. And just so you know, there are multiple different, like you mentioned earlier, like different faculty, different staff members, just different people that you could connect with. So I love that you did touch on like not being afraid to kind of get out there and just talk to just different types of people in that field, or that has access to information in that field. So I really appreciate you like really sharing your journey. This has been a great conversation, and I'm hoping that some of the students watching feel like they could get a lot of information from it. And thanks again.
Yes, and don't be intimidated, because you have the resources, you have the help. If you're going to Oakland, like genuinely, not like plugging here, like you will have the help, you will have the support. You just have to ask for it.
You're not in this alone. You have faculty, staff, other students, peers like yourself, so you're not in this alone. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for joining us on this Adventure with Journey Mappers podcast. It was a pleasure, as usual. See you next time.